Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, we got a director, producer, actor, editor, and a bunch of other stuff. He he just wrote and directed a new horror movie called Trip, and Trip is from Terror Films. And we're going to talk to him all about this great horror film. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Room. And my interview with Neil McCay is coming up very shortly. So make sure you stay tuned for the Grue Room. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thanks so much for taking time out of your night and being a guest on the show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Definitely, buddy, definitely. So like the first thing I wanted to ask you, I see you're a man of many talents. Like you
Oh, thank you.
write, direct, produce, edit, and a bunch of other stuff too that I probably didn't even read.
Yeah,
But like
a little bit of everything. Yeah.
so how did you wind up getting started in doing everything?
So I feel like in the land of independent film, you kind of have to do everything, or it makes sense to do everything so that you don't have to pay someone else to do it.
That's true.
But
true.
yeah, I've always, with the whole filmmaking process, I've always liked to be hands-on. And I just like to know like a little bit about everything and have my hands in all the cookie jars. But it just kind of, especially with like post-production stuff, it's just so much easier if you can do it versus like handing it off to someone else and then waiting for them. And then it's just economically and then just time-wise, it's just easier. But yeah, I just think it's like if you're in independent film, it's just like you're gonna have to do like everything. Like the cool stuff and then the grunt work stuff and then just like all of it. Like you're just gonna like the fun stuff and then the stuff that's, oh no, I don't want to do that. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's, yeah, I just have always kind of been in that world of just like doing a little bit of everything. So
Okay.
but I knew for this movie, like I was gonna write, direct, and then edit it. So
I I know exactly what you mean. One of my good friends, like he directs, writes, acts, edits all his own horror films. He only makes horror films,
yeah.
and he's the same way. Like he's his own production. Like he edits, he directs, he writes, he produces, he acts. He hires like his friends to act. So so you don't put out like a whole chunk of money, and then like every now and then he'll have like a star in the film, but a star that doesn't ask for a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's smart. Yeah, to just be your own production crew. And then if it works out, you're like, hey, that was all me. And then if it doesn't, like all the blame, that's the downside of it. All the blame goes to you. So
Exactly. So you got a new horror film. It's called Trip, and it's from Terror Films. And what inspired you to write the film?
So I hadn't done anything in the world of filmmaking in a while, and I wanted to do a horror movie, something contained, kind of in one location. I was drawn to having like a character deal with some sort of crisis, like losing a loved one or something, just kind of like an inner turmoil, and then just being kind of haunted by things. And I couldn't figure out. I don't know. I couldn't get like a story going, and I was just kind of thinking of like a hallucinogenic drug, like that could be interesting. It's like, is it, if this person's doing a drug, is it a hallucination or is it real, or are they just going nuts? And then all of a sudden I just kind of realized like, oh, wait a minute. Like I don't have a villain. Like I don't have a monster. Like I know who my protagonist is, but I don't know like what she's up against. And then once I figured out, oh, like this villain, like this monster, the spirit, then it was like, it all kind of came together and it was like, oh, okay. But really it was I was just trying to make like kind of a metaphor for depression, like fighting depression.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, so the movie is like, about her trying to battle this like evil spirit, but it's sort of like battling her own depression. So it's kind of like a little fun little thing, but that's kind of how I came up with it, I guess. And then once it was like, oh yeah, then villain and protagonist, then then all the pieces kind of came together.
Oh wow. Okay. Nice. And how did you wind up picking the cast for the film? I see one of the castmates is the actor who plays Devin from Chucky.
Yes, yeah, that was and this was we did production in 2019, so this was long before Bjorgvin even was like even in the talks for Chucky. And it's kind of cool that this movie's coming out now, because I said, he's a shooting star, he's really talented guy. And I mean, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like and I'm kind of like, I've been joking with people like, oh, I'm gonna ride his coattails, like he's go famous, and they're like, yeah, he's in this movie. But I had a casting director who lived out in LA, and she would kind of, I don't know how they do things. They get you like just people's headshots and like their links to their stuff. And you just get this page of like people, and he was one of them. And I really liked his look, and he had something online, and I thought he was really good. He had a great personality. Just like, I was like, oh, he can play. I don't want to give like spoilers away, but his character is kind of a little bit of this and that. And I was like, he had the range and everything. So I was like, all right, and then it was, I think I knew like immediately, like, oh yeah, he's the one. And then, yeah, like I said, a great guy and everything. And then I'm happy for him now that he's got, that show Chucky, because it's like, oh man, he's going to be a star, I think. But
definitely. Yeah.
So I kind of landed a few of the people that way. I found the lead character, Akasha, like just randomly on YouTube. Like I was looking at people that were local. I'm in Austin, Texas. So I was looking at people's reels on like YouTube. And then I just like, if I saw somebody I liked, I'd just like send them an email, like total shot in the dark. Like, hey, are you like acting? You interested in a movie? So it was just kind of, and it's just, it's just kind of just random. But that's kind of how, small cast. So it's like, that's kind of how I found everybody. It was
wow.
That way. So yeah, I think there's like 5 or 6 speaking roles in the entire movie. So there wasn't a ton to worry about as far as casting. So
okay, there you go. And how was it like directing the film and working with the whole cast?
No, it's great. I feel like I really lucked out, because everybody was like exactly what I was looking for each role, and everybody got it. There wasn't any, I mean, it just seemed very like seamless. Like it was just kind of, okay, we're just moving along. There was nothing. I mean, it's hard because we were under the gun with time and stuff, but as far as like us syncing up with what we were doing, it seemed pretty seamless, and it was just like, it was just a great just great cast to work with. Like I don't recall any like issues with like, oh, you're not getting it, or no. It was like they made it better too, because they would do things that I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. That's awesome. Let's do it that way now. Like, and that's the best, when you're like, I don't know how the scene's going to work. And then they make it, and then they, oh, no, let's do what you just did, because that's awesome. So.
Nice. And where was the film shot at?
So it was, all of it was 100% in my house.
Oh, nice. So, okay.
Like I said, I was trying to keep it contained, mostly for budgetary reasons, but I also like the challenge of kind of like, all right, we're going to keep it like a one location kind of thing. Like, you ever seen those there's like horror movies where it's like everybody's like trapped in a room, and that kind of thing. That was kind of like one of the things that was floating around in my head, was like that kind of thing. Like, all right, like, but instead of a why are we here, how did we get here kind of thing, it was just like, she's purposely staying in the house. Because she's like agoraphobic, and she won't leave the house. So I thought that was like an interesting twist on the whole trapped in a room, but she's trapping herself in the room. But yeah, so I was like, I looked at it as like a challenge. Like, how do you make, 5 rooms in the house, interesting, so you're not just like halfway through, like, oh my God, I'm sick of this living room, that kind of thing. So I tried to just move from room to room a bunch of times if you can. But yeah, no, it was 100%. Yeah. And my house, and that saved me money on locations. So, cause I'm already here.
Hey.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if it works and it looks good for the film and you save money, why not? Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in independent film, you always have to figure out a way to do things on the cheap.
Oh yeah.
And then of course, yeah, I mean, the money obviously went, to elsewhere, like, effects, like makeup or digital effects or that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, you know, so many people, like, they're like, once you have like catering and like people's salaries and stuff or whatever, like out of the way, and then you have like nothing to do
That's
anything.
true.
So
Yeah.
it's you got to cut the budget where you can, so.
True, true. Yeah, yeah. Like a lot of people don't know like how hard it is to make like in independent film. Like it's not like Lionsgate or Blumhouse or one of
Yeah.
those. Like no one realizes how much work actually goes into making a film on a very small budget.
Mhm. Oh yeah, and the thing about, even if you do, it's not like, even if you were like, take a Lionsgate or whatever, Blumhouse, that thing, they got so much money and time and everything, that it takes, you have so many people involved, and then you kind of, that's where like things take forever, like it's like we're shooting like 2 pages in a day, like 5 things happen, and then that's it, and it takes 9 hours or just 10 hours to do
Yeah, yeah,
that. So it's like the other thing, it's like, I don't know how I would do on something like that, because I'm so used to like everything going a mile a minute. Like, you're
exactly.
just churning
Yeah.
through, and you're doing like 8 different things. So if your job is just to sit there and like, all right, I'm waiting until somebody calls me to do this one particular thing, like, I'd go mad. It's like, I'd lose my mind. I'd be like, I need to do something like every second, but no, maybe, I don't know, maybe like a balance in between, like somewhere in the middle, like where you're not
Okay.
crazy busy, but you're not,
Well, yeah, exactly. And without giving too much away about the film, can you tell us a little bit about what the film is?
Yeah, so the main character is a mother whose her daughter commits suicide, and then she becomes an alcoholic recluse, and she's visited by an unconventional therapist, who offers her a hallucinogenic drug that will allow her to commune with the dead, and then speak to her daughter and find out why the daughter committed suicide.
Oh,
And so she goes forward with this, and then starts the same things that happened to her daughter before she died happen to the main character now. So it's like the same experiences. And then it's kind of like a whole kind of, is it real? Is she nuts? Or is it the drug? What's going on? And then it all kind of comes together at the end.
oh wow, nice.
So
Okay.
I think there's a better log line on the IMDb page. It's more succinct. I'm still working on this whole pitch thing. I'm trying to make it not so verbose and everything, but I don't know. I'll figure it out one of these days.
And is there a certain scene from the film that you like filming the most?
Um, oh, I mean, there's a ton that I like. The one that in particular, I think that's like my favorite, and I don't want to give away, but it's kind of when um the main character Allie
Mhm.
is just woken up. She comes downstairs and she thinks she sees her daughter in the kitchen. And I
Okay.
won't say anything more, but like that scene, I thought like was kind of like that seemed to be the one that like everything just kind of worked great.
Mhm.
Everybody was in sync, cast and crew. It was just a lot of fun to shoot.
Nice.
And I just felt like, as an editor, I had so many options from that scene. And that's always the best, when you're just sitting there and you have like 5 different versions of it, and you're like, I don't know which one to go with. It's like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side, you never want to be in a situation where like, all of this sucks and I have no idea how to put this together. You're trying to like, you're trying to put a whatever square peg through a round hole or something. You're like, this just is not going to work. Um, so, but yeah, don't get me wrong. There was tons of stuff that was really fun to film. Challenging stuff, but that one seemed to just be effortless, as far as just kind of everything working out. It happened to also be the second to last scene we shot in the whole thing. So like by that point, we were like all, pretty much in a groove of like, working together and stuff like that, which is fun to see. Because like you put a bunch of strangers together, and it's like, all right, the first day it's kind of like, all right, you're feeling each other out and stuff, and then by the end it's like everybody's like everybody's like best friends and everybody knows like how they work with each other, and it's like really smooth and stuff. So that's always fun to see, like on a film set, is when everything kind of comes together.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. And what do you like doing during your free time when you're not writing, directing, editing, acting, producing?
Oh geez, yeah, I don't know. And it's like I almost like forgot what I do on this, because ever since like the pandemic, and then it was like people were like, and speaking of being trapped inside and stuff, so it's like I'm like, yeah, what did I do? I like to kind of go around and like see the scenery, go to like parks and stuff. God, I don't know, I used to be in a bowling league.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, but just kind of, I don't know. I would just kind of find things to do and just kind of, once I mean, I was trying to play bass guitar, but that didn't really work out. So I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of always jumping around from like hobby to hobby, but mainly it's the movie making stuff. Like I just, what's the next project? What am I doing now? That kind of thing.
Sweet. And I always ask guests when I have them on, what are some horror films that you love watching?
Like stuff that I've seen recently, or just like in general?
Just like in general, like horror films you just like to watch.
Like top 5 now.
Yes.
Well, I could actually say like some of the ones that I think, like some of my ones that I'd like put up at the top of the list, because they and some of them are influential to me as far as like with Trip. Like I was like, ooh, not like I was copying them, but I was like, there was like I did some little nods, like of like pan homage or something like that. The Shining was probably be the Shining and The Exorcist are probably like at the top for me. But I also really like It Follows and The Babadook would be the more recent ones. And I almost feel like I'm saying like, are these all like cliche answers that like everybody says this or something? But probably those. I'm also a big fan of David Lynch, so I like a lot of the really weird stuff like that he would do with like Twin Peaks, where it's kind of off the wall, but like there's some really creepy stuff in there too. Then there's like Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive. Like he just has that style where you're just like, this is just like just nuts. But there's some really creepy stuff in there. But yeah, no, yeah, those are a few. If you're not familiar with Yellow Jackets, show on Showtime, I've been kind of recommending that to people.
Oh, okay.
It came out in it's sort of like a horror drama kind of.
Oh, really?
It's like a girls' soccer team gets lost and their plane goes down in like the middle of nowhere, Canada, and they kind of they're like, it's like Survivor, like there's no chance of getting saved. So and it's sort of like it sort of feels like it's turned into like Lord of the Flies. Like they start attacking, like not yet, but like that's kind of where the story is going. But yeah, it was a really cool show on Showtime, and I think at the time I was getting like a free subscription, like a trial or something. But anyway, I recommend that if you're into like horror and stuff. So.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Okay. And we spoke earlier. Have you watched the season of Chucky yet?
I have not, and part of like, and I know that's like bad. Like I really should be watching it, but the problem is, and I was just talking to a friend about this, is like there's so many streaming sites now.
I know.
And it's like, and I think that's like on Sci-Fi, or no, actually they moved that. Now it's now on I'm blanking on. I just saw it's a Sci-Fi show, but now it's somewhere like.
Well, it's on both stations. It's on Sci-Fi and USA.
Oh, okay. So, because I thought I just saw that it was on a streaming thing too. Like
I'm sure it is by now. Yeah,
like Peacock or something, maybe.
I think so. I think it's on that. Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't have like regular TV or like cable anymore, so I can't watch it on Sci-Fi or USA.
Yeah.
And then I don't have. And then yeah, but I was like, okay, one of these days I'm gonna get this like a subscription so I can see the show.
Okay.
Finally, because I feel bad because there's like I have like a laundry list of shows that like people are like, you got to see the show, and I'm just like, yeah, but I gotta get the streaming thing, and it's like I'm not gonna go buy a streaming service just for the one show,
Right,
like,
right, exactly.
And meanwhile, I'm sitting there with like Netflix, and I don't watch Netflix anymore, and I'm just like, what am I doing? So, but it's on my list though for sure. I gotta watch that show.
Okay. And what about songs? Like, what are some songs you like listening to? What's on your playlist?
So I kind of listen to a little bit of everything. I grew up with I was like big into like the grunge stuff, like Alice in
Hmm.
Chains and like Nirvana and all that stuff. Then also like the kind of industrial stuff like Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
So I was like that's kind of what I grew up with. But I also like like R&B stuff like Al Green or Marvin Gaye. I've been getting into kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's like pop rock music, but it's not
Hmm.
quite like on the radio, but it's radio friendly. But nobody like a band like Fickle Friends, for instance. Like I think they're really good. They're out of
Okay.
the UK, and if you listen to their stuff, it's very like kind of pop band ish, but they're not like a big hit on the radio, but they could be, So and then, but yeah, and then like yacht rock. That's like that like smooth like AM radio station stuff from like the 70s, like Hall and Oates and Steely Dan and stuff. So I'm all over the place, man. I got I'll
Nice.
listen to anything.
Nice.
So
Okay. Okay. Now, do you have any shows you're gonna go see live? Like any bands?
no, actually, so like going back to the pandemic thing, like now like that stuff's happening again. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
happening for a little
Exactly.
while, but I've been kind of
Everyone's
itching.
playing.
Yeah, now I'm like kind of itching to go. Like I'm out in Austin, so we just had South by Southwest a couple months ago, and I think that was like the first time in like 2 years that I went to see a band play,
Oh
and it was a
no.
local band out here called I'm blanking on their name. It's like Orchestra, but it's not like orchestra; it's like orchestra, and they're
Okay.
crazy. They have like dancers and stuff, and they have like an 8-piece or 10-piece band or something. You can like what it's like Golden Dawn Orchestra, and they're wild. They have some wild music videos. So anyway, they're local out here, and I saw them, and I'm just like, this is so cool. Like I
Yeah.
forgot like live music, like how like awesome that was. So now I'm like, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, who am I going to see this summer, and where, who's playing, who's touring, where can I go, and um, so to be determined, I think on that one. So.
Well, they have this like huge tour that's about to go around, and I definitely want to get a ticket for it. Like all it's like five bands on like or four or five bands on one show. It's Joan Jett, Poison, Def Leppard, and the crew, the
Molly Crew.
Motley Crew, and
Okay.
they're all on the same bill.
Oh,
And
okay. Do
and
you
it,
know what the thing's called or the tour?
I don't know what the tour is called. I just know they're all playing on the same show.
Okay. No, that's cool. Yeah, because I've actually seen Def Leppard and Molly Crew play, and I'm trying to think. I feel like I've seen Joan Jett before, but
Okay.
maybe not. I don't know. So I used to go to concerts a lot, so I feel like I've seen like all those bands, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
look that up. Yeah, because no, that's awesome, especially when you get like three or four, and you're like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
that's cool, like a
exactly.
festival kind of thing.
Exactly. I definitely have to see because all those bands I love. I got like all the albums and stuff. So
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and it is one of those things you forget about, and then you're like, damn, I haven't, just the simple like things, like just
yeah.
like eating in a restaurant or something like that. You're just
Yes,
like, oh yeah, I
exactly.
forgot about that, and
I forgot how it felt to sit down in a restaurant.
it's just something that you don't even think of, and you're like, yeah, but then when they kind of like, it's you can't do it really like the way you used to, and then it's like
Yeah.
you forget, and then you're like, oh yeah, that was, like you take things for granted, and now
Oh no, I
and
know.
now it's like, oh, I'm gonna use this time to now like go out and see all these bands and travel and do all this stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm really happy that's back again
oh
to
yeah, for
have the
sure.
option to see bands and go to restaurants and coffee shops and bars and festivals and
Yeah, yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, like that stuff's coming back, and it's like some semblance of normal.
I
And
know,
like
right?
because we
Exactly.
need we need that stuff. Without that stuff, we're cabin fever, we're losing our
Yes.
minds, and
Yes, exactly.
so.
Exactly. And where can fans watch the film and when is it coming out?
So it's got a premiere event on the terrafilms.net website, and if you just
Mhm.
go to terrafilms.net, we're coming out soon, so it's like it'll be there. Just look for Trip. There'll be, it's easy to find. I think there's like a film section, you can go there. It'll probably be one of the first movies that they show because it's premiering soon. But there's like a premiere live chat event. Like I guess you
Nice.
can like as you're watching it, I think you can hide the chat, but like if you want to, you can just like talk to, cast or crew or whoever, and just, I guess like something they do on YouTube. And that's on Friday the 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then it goes out wide on the 20th. And I think it's going to be on like Amazon and Tubi and stuff like that. Like the details will be on the Terror Films website, because we don't know exactly until like the day before and like exactly what time and what platform it hits. But I know it'll be out in the world on May 20th. But that's what I've been saying. Just go to terrorfilms.net and you'll see like how to, because they have like it's like foolproof. Like they're like, watch it here or watch it there, and it's like you'll know, like, okay, just pick your platform of choice, and then because it'll be accessible to, like, it's not just gonna be like on one place. So,
and that's a perfect date to show a horror film, Friday the 13th.
Yeah. When I heard Friday the 13th, I was like, oh, that's so cool. So then I was like taking like the posters and I was putting it like premiere and Friday the 13th, because that's pretty rad, So I was like, so it kind of worked out that way. So I was like,
yeah, exactly. Cool. For if anyone goes to watch the movie on Friday the 13th, they could watch your movie first and then go watch Jason.
Right, there you go. Right, because they do. I think they still do like those marathons.
Yeah. Every Friday the 13th has it. Yeah.
When I had cable, I was like that. Like I'd be like, oh, here come the Friday the 13th, and then it's like how all 13 or 12 or 15 or whatever it was of them. Jason.
I think it's 12. They never, for a franchise called Friday the 13th, they never made it.
They never did
that.
13?
They made 12. They didn't go to the 13th film yet, so I'm hoping they make another one. So
they got it. Well, they have to now. I mean, if they're so close, like, why would you not? Friday the 13th, part 13. I mean, come on, why wouldn't you? I mean, but no, that's good. You reminded me, because I'll have to start watching those, like, wherever they're playing the marathon.
Definitely, yes. I mean, as many times as I've seen them, like every Friday the 13th, I'll pick about 3 or 4 Jason films and watch them.
Yeah. It's like, and they all kind of bleed together too for me, because I'm like, all right, which one's the one with like the psychic, and which one's the one with Corey Feldman, and like, it's like I get them all mixed up,
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's great stuff.
Oh yeah. And where can fans find you at? Like, what's your pages?
So I still need to update. I have an IMDb page and I still need to update that. But I got stuff there. I also do a podcast with my buddy Dave Groves, who's a producer on the movie, and we are the two of us have a production company called 611 Films. And if you just Google 611 Films podcast, you'll find us. We're on like whatever, Spotify, whatever, Apple, all that, whatever the podcast app on your iPhone will have it. It's easy to find us. But yeah, 611 Films, and we just kind of him and I just kind of talk about, all things Hollywood movies. We do like, top 3 best comedies, stuff like that. And then we'll have guests on too. We'll just talk to them about, the film industry or, that kind of thing. So that, and then, yeah, that's kind of it. I'm trying to get into social media, but I don't have a big social media presence. So I don't have like a TikTok page or anything, but I know I got to get into that realm to, hype up the movie. So I'm working on it, but
nice. Well, I want to thank you for coming and doing, well, not coming in person, of course, but for coming on the show, and thanks again for taking time out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the film, and I know all the fans of Chucky are going to want to see it for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah. No, thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. Yeah. And absolutely. Yeah. Check it out. Let me know what you think. And
definitely.
But no, thanks again for having me. Very cool. Oh, when does this air? Do you know? Or
I'm going to post it the same night. So by the end of the night, I'll have it up.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, all right. So I'll start promoting it. I'll start tagging you and tagging and putting it up on. There's my thing for social media. I'll start. There's my homework. I got to start posting.
Okay, that works.
Oh man, we'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you. All right, buddy. Well, definitely have a great night, and everyone go see Trip on Terror Films.
Very good. Cool. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Take it easy.